Today, I'll introduce you to Syanastric geometry, a really useful tool for astrologically analyzing the relationship compatibility between two people. Syanastric geometry is a really well-researched and documented technique. Many people have put this technique to the test, and it's proven its validity. And this is the fundamental technique that I use in my astrological compatibility report, which you can get at this link. So I call it Syanastric geometry. Syanastric because it involves putting two charts together, and geometry because it involves looking for shapes, geometric patterns forming between those two charts. Now today I just want to give you the introduction, and next week and the week after that let's go into more details. Today I just want to introduce you to the shapes that are involved in Syanastric geometry and how to find them or identify them in charts. There are 7 different shapes to identify, and I want to go over those with you today. Each different shape has a different characteristic. Let's start with the most romantically compelling configuration, which is the pole. So for example, here the girl has the sun in Aries and the boy has the sun in Libra. That forms the shape of a pole. They're in opposite places in the zodiac. This can happen with any planets. A pole can form between the sun and the sun, the moon and the moon, Mercury and Mercury, Venus and Venus, anything. Or you can also form the poles across planets, like this example shows, the boy with the sun in Libra and the girl with the moon in Aries. So for today, I'm just showing you the shapes, but just to give you a little heads up on what's going to go on down the road in 1 or 2 weeks, we'll start talking about how to interpret these things. Each different planet is about a different type of thing, a different aspect of a relationship. Like the sun is about how they make decisions and set rules, and the moon is about how they feel and what they want, etc., etc. So if you got a polarity of the suns, it's a different interpretation than if you have a polarity of the moon, but they're both poles. And the basic nature of the pole is, as you can see here, they're in very compatible elements, right? Like if the moon of the girl is in Aries and the moon of the boy is in Libra, well, that's a fire sign and an air sign. Fire needs air, and air needs fire. So this relationship kicks off. Like if you say the girl has the moon in Taurus and the boy has the moon in Scorpio, then you've got a water-earth pole, which you'll interpret a little differently. We'll get there. But still, it's a great thing to be a pole because you got these opposite elements that are what each other element needs. Earth needs water to be fertile, and water needs earth to hold it. Similarly, if you got the girl has the moon in Gemini, the boy has it in Sagittarius, again you have a fire air. And if you have girl with moon in Cancer and a boy with the moon in Capricorn, then you have another earth water. So poles, they're considered to be the most compelling of all the possible shapes. And it's because it forms a link between these two opposing elements, which are complementary to each other. So the result there will be that the partners need each other and they're drawn to each other. Now the next simplest shape is not even a shape at all. It's just these two planets are conjunct. Maybe this is actually the simplest shape. So for example, if both of the partners have the moon in, let's say, Leo, it indicates sameness. So here both of the planets are in the same element. It's not as compelling as if they were opposite, but it's like the two planets understand each other. They're in the same place, they're on the same page, so to speak. What I would say is the third shape, just to keep it simple, is the trine. So here's an example of a trine. This could form in 2 ways. So let's say the girl has the moon in Virgo. Then a trine will form with a partner who has the moon in any other earth sign. So if the partner has the moon in Capricorn, or if they have the moon in Taurus, then it will form a trine to the girl's moon in Virgo. So what you get from a trine is these people, first they understand each other, they're on the same page with each other, and they form like a dynamic support, like a triangle does. They help each other. So here in the example, it's just the girl's moon is in Virgo, but it could be anywhere. If the girl's moon was in Leo, then the boy could have his moon in any fire sign to make it trine to hers. And as I said before, it doesn't just have to be with the moon. Just to make it simple, that's the examples I'm showing you is with the moon. The fourth shape that I want to show you is the square. So the example for a square that I'm going to show you is, let's say you have a girl with her moon in Capricorn. Then if she meets a boy who's got the moon in either Aries or Libra, then her moon and his moon are going to square up with each other. So what the square indicates is rigidity, but we don't like it. It's not like the trine, which indicates strength, but supportive strength, because the trine involves all the same elements. The square is also strong, but it involves elements that don't go well together. So look at this example. If her moon is in Capricorn and the boy's moon is in Libra, then that's earth and air. Earth and air don't do anything for each other. In fact, earth stops or blocks the air, and air makes the earth arid and dry and infertile. Same thing, if the boy's moon is in Aries, then it's going to be earth and fire. Earth puts the fire out, and fire just makes the earth infertile and arid. So, although trines and squares both have strength to them, the trine shape has a supportive strength, whereas the square shape is a clashing. So this will happen with any element. Like, I'm just showing you here how if the moon is in Capricorn, but if her moon were in Sagittarius, then the square would form if his moon was in Virgo, right? So then that would be the same thing. It would be earth and fire. Or if his moon was in Pisces, then that would be fire and water. They would put each other out. Now let me show you the remaining shapes, which are a little less obvious. Let's start with the sextile. I know sextile sounds like it should be great for romantic compatibility, and it is pretty good, but it's not the cat's meow. The pole is really the cat's meow. Sextiles have the goodness of a pole and the goodness of a trine. The goodness of the pole is in the fact that the elements are always going to be compatible. And the goodness of a trine is that a sextile is half of a trine. So it's like a mild trine with the compatible elements of a pole. So sextiles are nice. So here's an example of a sextile. A woman's moon in Libra will make a sextile pattern with a man's moon in Sagittarius or a man's moon in Leo. And look at the elements that are involved there. The elements are the same deal as if you were going across for a pole. If you were going from a pole from Libra, you would go over to Aries and get fire sign. If you go semi-sextile from Libra, you're going to get the other two fire signs. But the shape itself is rather weak. It's not like a triangle or a square. So it's a mild positivity that you get. And instead of using this particular example, if we instead shifted it a bit and we said that the moon was in Scorpio, then you get a sextile with any of the earth signs, nearby earth signs. You would get a pole with the opposite earth sign and a sextile with the nearby earth signs. Why is it a good thing? Because you got the guy having an earth element moon and you got the girl having a water element moon. So his way of feeling, thinking, seeing, wanting is going to be compatible with hers, because her water is going to fertilize his soil and his soil is going to stabilize and house her water. Next, and almost final shape, let's talk about semi-sextiles. Semi-sextile is 30 degrees, so it just means the neighboring sign. So if you get the woman has the moon in Scorpio and she's meeting with the man who has a moon either in Sagittarius or Libra, the moons are going to be semi-sextile. It's not like a clash, like a square, but it's like blindness, an inability to see, comprehend, understand each other. The shape formed here is very weak. 30-degree angle is very weak. So it's a mild thing. It's not like it's a relationship breaker or crusher. It's a mild shape. But the elements are incompatible. So far the two non-desirable shapes that you know are squares and semi-sextiles. But the squares are a very strong shape, and the semi-sextile is a very weak shape. So the semi-sextile is mildly incompatible, whereas the square shape is very incompatible. And finally, the seventh shape is very difficult to pronounce, but it's called Quincunx. It's like the mirror image of the semi-sextile. So instead of being 2 or 12 signs away from a given point, you're going to be 6 or 8. So let's say if the woman has the moon in, let's say, as this example shows, Sagittarius, then 6 signs away is going to be Taurus, and 8 signs away from it is going to be Cancer. So if a girl with the moon in Sagittarius meets a guy with the moon in Taurus, it's going to be a clash of elements again, just like as if it was semi-sextile. It's going to be earth of Taurus from the guy with fire of Sagittarius with the girl. Or if the guy has the moon in Cancer, that's going to be a clash of elements. The Cancer's water. It's not going to go well with Sagittarian fire. So it's really the same exact scenario as a semi-sextile, just on the other side of the zodiac. But because there's a greater distance and the angle itself makes a sharper shape, we like this. We like the quincunx shape less than we like the semi-sextile shape. So here's a list of, from best to worst, the shapes that you could find in between people's charts. You could find a polarity, and that's 100% compatible, let's say. That's great. It's very compelling. The next best thing is to be conjunct in the same sign. That's like 90%, 95% compatible. The next shape is a trine. In my compatibility reports, I calculate that as 80% compatible. Then the next best down is kind of like iffy, mixy, is sextile. Sextile is 60% compatible. Then the next less desirable shape is a semi-sextile. Now they get right next to each other. They can't see each other. 40% compatibility. Then we start to get to more serious incompatibilities. We get to quincunx, which is where they get a sharp arrow from being 6 or 8 signs away from each other. Okay, and that's like 20% compatibility. And finally, the worst shape is a square. That's where you're going to get a very strong shape with incompatible elements. Okay, so there's your introduction to all the shapes that are involved in Syanastric geometry. So what I do in my compatibility report, and what you'll have to do if you're going to do compatibility astrology yourself, is you have to identify these shapes, and then you're going to have to do 2 more steps, which I'm going to explain to you in the coming 2 weeks. The second step will be to weight it, which means to figure out how intense this particular shape is. And then the third step is to interpret it. So I do all that in the report, and I'll show you how I'm doing that next week and the week after that. So go to my website, grab a report for you and your loved one, or your friend and their loved one, or the potential partner, and subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss the next installments in this series. Thanks so much.